right, hey guys, welcome back to Red Root Yoga and Mysticism. This is part of our weekend love reading. We're going to continue with this deck, Love Casting Oracle. And we're doing water signs right now. So we just wrapped up Earth and Air. And we're going to move on to water signs. Okay. So let's start with Pisces. We're going to ask Spirit, guides, angels and archangels, loving ancestors, what do you have for Pisces? I'm not sure why I'm starting with you, Pisces, but here we go. It's interesting, as I'm trying to shuffle these cards, they're like a little dense today, like a little heavy. So let's get this energy moving. Okay, Pisces, a couple more shuffles. Let's do two more. Ooh. Ooh. One and two. Okay, Pisces. So your first card is Nature Lover, at one with the natural world. This is very you, Pisces. Your second card, Betrayal, Lilith's Reclamation. Okay, and your third card, Pet Love, Animals. Okay, Pisces. So we're going to go through each of these cards individually. This first card will represent your energy. The second card is the energy of the person you're in connection with. And this card is the energy that's coming in. The third card is the energy that's coming towards you. So Pisces, let's get started with your card, Nature Lover, at one with the natural world. So Pisces, this video is created June 2026. These readings are timeless though, so whenever it finds you, the message is relevant. I apologize for the background noise. My dogs are playing. So Pisces, you might be doing some restorative time in your life right now. What the guides are sharing with me is that you are immersing yourself in really quiet time, almost like a meditative time. You might be spending time in nature. If you're someone who loves trees, this is coming to me. Trees and fungi. I knew someone once who really loved the fungi and would go on hikes or walk around their neighborhood and pay attention to all these really small organisms that maybe we oftentimes overlook. Pisces, you're giving me this energy that you are taking time in your life. And you might just be wired this way, but I think at this particular moment, you're really giving into opportunities to really connect more deeply with the natural world. And so whether that's being around trees, being with smaller organisms like fungi, or I don't know what else. I picture like moss. I picture like, if you're someone who loves water, being in ocean water and seeing all the beings and species and feeling the vibration of the energies and the organisms that exist in that ecosystem. You really are creating an immersive experience for yourself to really be saturated with nature. And the truth is, the reality is, we are always in connection with the natural world. Many indigenous cultures and communities understand that what we in the West call nature is not separate from us. It is all, we are all one, right? And so these are our relatives. These are members of our spiritual and energetic community. So whether we're talking about plants or animals, we're all a part of the same true reality, same true system, same true relational family. And we all serve different roles. So Pisces, you might be getting back to a point where you're really reestablishing that connection and allowing yourself to be recalibrated by being in the presence of these beings. I picture you with tall trees. I picture you walking through a field, like a meadow with, beautiful grass and flowers. Whatever it is that you're doing, even if it's like, you're not able to go outside or go physically to the places you want to be. Maybe you're watching a lot of documentaries on nature or reading books. But I get the sense that you're taking time, as I just took this big deep breath, and you are immersing yourself in the energy, I tickle my throat, or the emotional experience, the kinetic experience. Really, it's a total holistic mind, body, soul wrap around, enveloping yourself in all things that you can really reach related to nature. And you're doing this for purposes that are deeply tied to your heart, and needing for your heart space to be in harmony with, to experience resonance with that which we call the natural world. Pisces, this is beautiful. Yeah, let's try to clarify this a bit further. Let's look at the energy of the person that you're in connection with. So this card is betrayal, Lilith's reclamation. So Pisces, the person, you might have a person in your life who you're in relationship with. Maybe this is a partnership, like a formal, materialized partnership that currently exists. This could also be a partnership that recently dissolved. And so, okay, Pisces, we're back. I'm working on getting our recording set up a little bit better. So sorry if there's like glitches in these transitions. We're going to get better at the video quality. But so back to this reading. This very well could be the energy of someone who you've already engaged with, who you've already been in partnership with, or this can be someone new. If this resonates, if it doesn't, leave it. This might just be for a few folks. But this card of betrayal, which represents the other person's energy, suggests that this person either is processing their own recent or really prominent experience in a romantic relationship, or otherwise, where they have experienced a type of betrayal, and sort of the hurt that comes from that, and also, what stands out to me here in the imagery in this imagery of this card is the veil. And especially when thinking about Lilith, the energy that is Lilith being an astrological element, a disembodied astrological element at that. I think there's a sort of veiling that's occurring for this person. So this person, just to put it plainly, could have experienced a really deep hurt, for which they have sort of created a veil in their life that maybe hides that part of their experience from others. This could be someone who has experienced a really deep hurt, and because of it, they are really working to lift the veil that has kept them to some degree separated from others, or to some degree separating themselves from that experience, almost like disassociating. This could even be that past experience for a person has changed how they move through the world fundamentally, and they are just a much more sort of cloaked person, someone who has, the qualities that maybe feel more mysterious, not dark, but like maybe aren't quite as obvious or transparent. And so you, in connection to this person, Pisces, I think you're in very different places. And I think that you are not willing to sort of set aside your journey, which you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't. For where they are. Like, you don't have to be where they are to make a connection work. And this might sort of indicate that the two of you are both in very different places with regard to forming a romantic connection or some other kind of very close connection. In both of these images, the two women are looking in, they're both sort of, if I'm looking at the cards, as I'm looking at the cards, both women are sort of looking in the same direction. They both have a hand, like their hands, arms, like sort of up in the air. There's a parallel energy that's unfolding for both of you, even though the two of you are in very different places. And I think you both recognize that about each other. I think you both also appreciate and want to respect the process that each other are undergoing, the space that both of you are in. And, I think you both feel pretty committed to the sort of path that you're on right now, the portion of your journey that you're on right now, and not willing to sacrifice that for someone else, which you shouldn't. But maybe you're aware of the fact that you really need to dedicate this portion of time to letting this energy unfold, letting whatever healing or connection or revelations or inspiration take hold before the two of you enter into a union, either with each other or with someone else. So this feels like you're both on separate paths, even though there's a parallel, set of experiences that are happening for each other, which I do believe makes the two of you aligned to move forward together, but likely in a much more platonic way, at least for now. This card always symbolizes to me like the kind of love and appreciation that is just really friendly and comes without expectation and is really focused on care. When we think about pets or animals that mean something in our lives, oftentimes we show up as these very central figures of care in the life of that animal. And this card represents the energy that's coming in. So Pisces, I don't necessarily think that this is someone that you've dealt with previously. It could be. This could be someone that you're previously in a relationship with, but I think that for more of you than not, this is a new energy, a new person in your life who's coming out of a certain chapter in their own life relevant to this sort of betrayal and the evolution that has occurred within them individually because of that experience. For those of you who have an ex who's still around, or someone who's on your mind that maybe you've dated or had some kind of encounter with, in other words, if this is an energy of someone who you have had experience with, this is someone who is really trying to escape that narrative, escape that that story that you have about them. Even if they do, you know, even if the responsibility for what happened between the two of you relevant to betrayal of some sort, or relevant to sort of a veiling of information or a veiling of who they are. When I use the word veil, like if you think about the symbolism of veils, they are they're a boundary, they're like a border, they are a wall behind which people can hide to some degrees. Very thin, so because of the thinness of a veil, you can more often than not still make out much of who that person is when you look through the fabric of a veil, but it still is like an additional layer that keeps someone either hidden or distant from others. So if this is someone from your past, this could be someone who's trying to overcome that aspect of their you know, personal experiences or experience with you that makes you feel like they sort of hide something, or they don't fully share who they are with you. And this is not an easy lift for this person. They are, this is sort of that energy of both Lilith and Scorpio. They are sort of more private or more hidden, or sort of less visible, less obvious, more subtle, all of those sort of things. But again, this energy that's coming in suggests that the two of you can find a way forward in a much more platonic, much more friendly, and care-based experience, where maybe there's not the expectation of love and romance and chemistry and all that. Not to say that that doesn't exist between the two of you on some level, or that it wouldn't come at some point, but the sort of next steps on the journey that allow for your paths to begin to emerge is this much more sort of cordial and like social and friendly energy is sort of the best way to explain it. Pisces, I hope this helps. Okay. Pisces, we're gonna move on to our next water sign. I'm gonna try to play with this lighting in here. We're gonna get better at this, folks. Thanks for being so patient. I think it's the time of day that we're recording here. Okay, enough talking. Let's move on to Cancer. Kind of mixing this up, but let's move on to Cancer. Okay. What is the energy? Oh, you have a jumper, Cancer. Your first card, if I can get this to focus, material love, obsession. Okay. What is the energy for Cancer's love reading for this weekend? What is the energy for Cancer's love reading? Angels, archangels, spirit guides, loving ancestors. What is the energy for Cancer? Cancer. What is the energy for Cancer? Let's do 2 more, Cancer. Okay, Cancer, this shuffling is like, normally when I shuffle this way, I kind of do this like, I don't know what you call this kind of shuffling, but it's like groups of cards that normally, I'm not the best shuffler, but it's like groups of cards that like to shuffle at a time. But for some reason, as I'm shuffling your deck right now, It's like every single card is moving with every swipe of my hand. So the energy is really particular. Okay, Cancer, your next card, long distance love, threads of the eternal. Okay. And your third card, nature lover, at one with the natural world. We've gotten nature lover a few times, or a couple times in these readings. Okay. So Cancer, this first card represents your energy. The second card represents the energy of the person you're in connection with. And the third card is the energy that's coming in. So let's start with you. I'm really trying to see if I can get better lighting, but it's the time of day that I'm doing this. Apologies, Cancer. So material love, obsession, this is your energy. So Cancer, as I'm doing this reading, this is sort of mid-June. And for those of you who have sun signs in Cancer, we're ushering in your time of year to celebrate your solar return, your birthday. And so this card, material love, obsession, Cancer, this suggests that you are having fun. You're having fun at this point in time. If this reading finds you in the summer of 2026, around June, or at any point, because these readings are timeless, you're coming off of some pretty significant wins. You've had some pretty big financial gains recently, and there's more to come. This lighting is not my favorite, Cancer. I apologize. Let's see. Okay, Cancer. I just had to pause for a second to try to get better lighting. So yeah, you've had some pretty significant material gains in recent months, and you're doing really well. This could be in your career. You could have recently had a promotion. You could be doing really well in business. You could have come into some inheritance, or truly, whatever form it takes, you have been doing some serious manifestation, and you're proud of it. Like, this is the energy of you bringing forward, calling into your experience all of the abundance that you desire. And the amazing thing is that you have pretty significantly manifested this abundance. So whether you feel like this has been sort of long in the making, maybe you've been hard at it for some years working towards this moment, or maybe you have really rapidly sort of accelerated the wealth and the material resources. Maybe that's like, maybe you've recently purchased a home. Maybe you have recently gotten a new car. Maybe you are sort of refreshing your wardrobe, or maybe you just are really comfortable and you're able to go about life and not worry about the bank account. Or maybe you have just found this new rhythm, financial rhythm and resource in life, that you are so filled with this energy at present. It's interesting, it's a presence. At present, that really, for those who are in your presence, you are wanting to gift in the form of presents your resource to others. It's like, I'm trying to think of the movie, or it's maybe like an archetype, but it's like that person who has a tremendous amount of wealth, and because they do, generosity, this isn't true for everyone, but generosity becomes a thing of like ease, like they give to other people. Sometimes that can be out of the goodness of your heart, of this type of person's heart. Other times it can be like kind of a kind of a braggadocious thing. Cancer, I don't quite think that's you, but I do think that you're really enjoying this experience. This card also says obsession, so maybe this has become hyper focused in your life to the exclusion of other things. And if that's the case, we always want to remind ourselves to find balance. Doesn't mean that you slow down on that abundance. Keep calling in the abundance. But your guides may be saying that, this is time to take stock of what really matters to you. Now that you do have the finances, the resources of the material nature that you've wanted so deeply or for so long, does this really give you what you want in life, what you need in life? Is this really satisfying you? You've sort of played with this energy now, or you're currently playing with this energy. Does this align with your values? Does this align with the type of life that you ultimately want to create for yourself in ways connected to your belief system, your principles, your priorities? So there might be some of that calibration happening in your personal life, Cancer. This next card is the card of the person you're in connection with. So long distance love, threads of the eternal. So Cancer, while you're over here bawling, you have someone who sees you from afar. This feels like someone who's known you for some time. I don't necessarily think this is a new energy. I think this is someone who's known you for some time. This could be someone that at one point in time you had feelings for, but it never really materialized. This could be somebody that maybe you knew from way back when. You might have gone to school with them, or maybe they lived in your neighborhood. There's something childlike about this connection and its origin point. But this is someone who's always had a fondness for you and who has always seen you for who you are. But they don't live close, or the work that they do kind of consistently has them traveling and being far away from wherever you are rooted. But this is a person who has that kind of soul connection with you, Cancer, that is unending and unchanging. I feel like this person sees you at this chapter of your life and is kind of tickled by how much you are enjoying the fruits of your labor, or the nectar of your manifestation. And they know that the material wealth and resource that you've come into is not what defines you. So even if this is something that's going to become increasingly just a part of your life, right? Like, you've gotten to that point in life where you've really locked into this energy, and this will continue to follow you for the rest of your life. You will be stable and resourced and have access to those things which literally afford you a life of security and stability and so forth. Yet this person isn't really moved by that. You could have 2 pennies to your name and this person would still love you intrinsically. And so Cancer, this is someone who has either had a really brief connection with you in recent weeks, and maybe you forgot about it, or it was fleeting, or it kind of it disappeared. I'm thinking of a text message. This person could have texted you and been like, hey, Cancer, your birthday's coming up. You have any plans? And maybe you were like, hey, long time no talk. No, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll keep you posted. And maybe the conversation just kind of ended there. And you never went back to, ask them more about what's going on with them, and maybe they left it alone. But I get the sense that this is someone who you've had some brief communication with recently, but it's not somebody that you necessarily talk to all the time for some of you. For others of you, this could be somebody that you do talk to all the time, and there's still that distance element. This could be somebody that feels very much like a best friend, even though you rarely see each other in person. In either case, though, I don't know if you have yet become aware of how deeply this person loves you. beyond like soul level love, love in the sense that they have always held space for the possibility of a particular kind of connection with you, a particular kind of union with you. And so Cancer, what your guides are saying is the ball is in your court. If this is someone who you do want to give more attention to and explore this as a possible romantic connection, but really what's coming in for me is this is a spiritual connection, and this is a very spiritually evolved person, an emotionally available person, a really grounded person. They're prepared and ready and in some ways waiting for you, Cancer. It's really up to you as to whether you have an interest at this point in your life in having that kind of connection with someone, or whether you're really sort of strictly focused on stacking your coins, right? But this is a beautiful energy that is available to you. The third card here is the energy that's coming in, and this is Nature Lover, at one with the natural world. So Cancer, what this card is suggesting is that outside of your day-to-day life, outside of your 9-to-5 life, or your grind, the whole like hustle culture, grind culture, people talk about like how that's a thing of the past, a thing of the old world, which I fully agree with. So what this is telling me, Cancer, is that yes, you have abundance. You should be proud of it, and this is available to you as a material resource in this three-dimensional world. You have achieved that. You have matched and mastered that vibration. And now you also have the opportunity to continue advancing on your spiritual journey and moving into the dimension that really allows you to connect with other energetic vibrations, other types of resource, whether that's love resource, whether that's resources of earth, of Gaia, of the natural world. But this card is suggesting that when you get outside of whatever this reality is, whatever this paradigm is, so I'm literally talking about, like, if you're someone who owns a business, when you leave the store, or when you leave, your offices, or if if you're employed somewhere and you have a, corporate career or professional career, administrative in some way, when you leave, your building, when you leave your laptop, whatever it is, when you leave the paradigm of this place that you associate with making money and doing well and prospering, and when you place yourself literally in nature, whether that's going for a hike, or going for a swim, or going for a long drive somewhere scenic, you're reminded of just how big this world is. And not just world as an earth, yes, but how big the universe is and how much is still available for you to receive and explore and desire. There's more to desire than just this. And so, Cancer, I feel like part of this energy that's coming in is you looking in this direction, and recognizing that there may be more for you to move on to at this point in time, like a next step. Maybe it's about you getting back it's not really time, like it's like you letting go a bit of your grip on this, because you already got this, like this isn't going anywhere. And you opening yourself up to being more connected to the world around you. You've been really sort of singularly focused in your life on whatever this goal is or set of goals has been. And so this card represents you kind of really like loosening up, lightening up, and having a much more whimsical, much much more free flowing, fluid, light, airy, easy connection to life in general, but you're able to do that through connecting with the natural world. And that's really the energy of this person. This person right here is a very light energy. Light as in like bright, like illuminated. Light also as in lightweight. This person has a very light and easy touch, very light and easy spirit. And it might be that the two of you find ways to connect that are related to nature. Maybe this person's coming back into town for a few days and, you know, Cancer, you're like, hey, you want to meet up? Like, we can go for a drive down the coast. Or, you know, I was thinking about going to see this, I don't know, mountain, going for a drive to this mountain and doing a little hiking, or going and having a picnic. So it might be that the two of you are able to find a middle ground of sorts by connecting with nature and allowing the power of that earth energy, that Gaia energy, to really catapult you into these next set of steps in your life, into the new energy, that new world, new earth energy that is so much more than this material abundance and wealth that you've called in, which is tremendous. And still the universe wants to give you more. And so that one of the ways that that becomes unlocked is by connecting with nature. And in the process of doing that, there's the ability, the opportunity, the opening to connect with this person. I hope this helps, Cancer. I mean, you're on a roll. You have a lot of momentum going on for yourself right now. And so we're here for you. We're cheering you on, and we hope this helps. Okay. Okay, we did Pisces, we did Cancer. So now we're going to do Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Come through for Scorpio. Oop, and we're jumping already. Scorpio, your first card that jumped is Divine Love, the eternal flow of gratitude. Okay. Okay, spirit guides, angels, archangels, loving ancestors, please share with us messages for Scorpio. Please share with us love messages for Scorpio. Okay. A few more shuffles, Scorpio. Scorpio, or any of the signs that watch this video, please like this video if you're able to, and if you feel like subscribing, that would be amazing too. Next week, I'm going to try to switch up this, our setup. Listen, I'm working with what we got. We're doing the best with what we got, but we're going to try to switch this up a little bit just so you can have a bit more interaction with me on these videos. And I'm always down to hear feedback or get ideas from other folks to make these even more special. So let me know what you think. Okay, Scorpio. Okay. Ooh, these cards are sticking. Scorpio, your second card. Heartache. Unfaithfulness. Okay. And your third card, Scorpio. Material love. Obsession. Okay, Scorpio, this is some strong energy. So the first card represents your energy. The second card is the energy of the person that you're in connection with. And the third card is the energy that's coming in. So let's begin with you. Divine love, the eternal flow of gratitude. So Scorpio, you're in a place where you're doing some pretty significant magical manifestation. I don't remember who else I was saying this about, but one of the other signs is doing some pretty heavy, not heavy in like a, you know, like in a negative way, but like substantial. Somebody else was doing some pretty substantial manifesting. So Scorpio, this feels like you are also doing some pretty significant manifestation. And this particular manifestation is centered on gratitude. And so in this depiction, you see a person who's cloaked or veiled in red fabrics and lifting their arms up, their hands up, and above them, sort of this celestial background and earth in the shape of a heart. And it's titled Divine Love. I'm breaking this down because I want to get to the root of this feeling, to understand the essence of divine love as best as we can. It's when we have you ever had just an overwhelming, like a swelling up of love for something? So much so that there's no outlet for it. There's no way of properly, adequately, fully expressing your love for a person, or not a thing, but like for something. There's no way to express it other than your heart simply holds so much gratefulness, so much thankfulness for having witnessed or experienced that person or that thing. It's like at some point in our human experiences, this is how it feels for me. This is the best way that I can translate it, and I've had this experience a handful of times in my life, and maybe most poignantly once in my life. But I'm going to try to explain it. As humans, we are so powerful, and we are entirely energetic beings that are here only out of love, right? So if you believe in the universe being intelligent and creative and benevolent, these are also the characteristics that people might assign to a god or a spirit. It's that divine intelligence and creative, loving force that is the cause of all that there is. Well, if you can imagine that whatever it is that animates everything in our universe, including us, including the cells in our bodies and the atoms that make up the cells in our bodies, if you can imagine something that vast and that powerful, to wrap your mind around the magnitude of love that being, entity, spirit must have for us individually is almost impossible. I mean, I would say for me in my experience, it feels impossible to imagine how much this great spirit can truly love us. What I can grasp is that I can understand a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of that love. And the amount that I can understand overwhelms me. that infinitely small fraction of love that I can comprehend, that I can transmute and interpret and therefore experience in my own mind, body, and spirit, is so overwhelming that there's literally nothing I can do with it other than give thanks for what I'm experiencing as sheer loving force. This might sound super woo-woo and abstract. I really have no way of explaining this in any other form, but this is what your guides are sharing with me is part of this magical manifestation that you're doing that is entirely rooted in gratitude and thanks and appreciation. It is the sharing, the releasing of so much love that you have for all that makes up your life, makes up your experiences, makes up your worldviews, makes up that which you are. You have entered into a point in time where you just have really come into a type of spiritual awakening where this is calling to you to sort of let go of agenda, let go of, you know, the things that you think that you should be doing or wanting or experiencing, and you are purely giving gratitude to all there is. You are sending the universe. You are calling to Mother Earth, to Gaia, commanding love into the atmosphere, because that's what you're being given, this really supercharged, clear experience of God's loving force. And you are putting that back out into the world around you. And in the process, you're doing some pretty amazing stuff. I hope I didn't lose you with that. Like, this is just, I think, beyond beautiful and in many ways miraculous. But Scorpio, you are, and pretty like quietly, or let's say like, this isn't something that other people necessarily see you doing or know you're doing. It's not like you're out there like shouting on the mountaintop. Maybe you are, but this is really sort of like behind the scenes, and maybe this is a part of your daily practice, or a type of like sacred ritual or prayer that you've been doing pretty consistently. But Gaia, Earth, hears you. The universe receives this gratitude, and this is all coming back to you, Scorpio. This is all coming back to you. This is beautiful. Okay. The energy of the person that you're in connection with is heartache, unfaithfulness. So this is a contrast to this energy here. This is a contrast to this energy here. So Scorpio, this is someone that you've been in connection with. You know, this could be in the last few months, this could be in the last year, but this feels like a relationship that ended. But this relationship ended because it needed to. This person that you're in connection with did not fulfill their commitments to you, or did not honor this spiritual journey that you're on, or that did not fully appreciate or understand this practice, or this this sort of evolution in your own journey. Like, they just didn't get it. Maybe they were kind of dismissive or undermined what it is that you're going through, or just didn't handle you with care. And so this person, either they were unfaithful in that they didn't hold up their commitment to you in the ways that you two both agreed via a partnership, or maybe you were dating exclusively, I don't know. Or maybe they just, you know, they checked out, right? This person could have been unfaithful in the more conventional sense, like perhaps they cheated, or started on an emotional relationship or physical relationship with someone else. But this also could really just be that they didn't, not just, but this could be that they just did not honor all that you're going through and all that you are, Scorpio. And so their plight is that they now hold deep regret. Like, they're beginning to recognize the short-sightedness that they were occupied by. They're realizing that you really are someone entirely different from anyone they've ever known. It's that like feeling of like, damn, I really messed up. Like I sacrificed the temporary like moment, whether I was frustrated in that moment or angry or like just uninterested. I let the moment dictate what would be a much bigger story or much bigger like gift for me. I sacrificed the larger gift for that moment in which they, quote unquote, failed you, Scorpio. And so now they're just really dealing with a slew of regrets. And this person loved you, but I don't get the sense that this was a vibrational match for you. There's nothing wrong with this person, right? Like there's nothing wrong with any of us, but this person's just on a very different life path and has very different priorities and values. It just does not feel like an aligned spirit like match here. And so they're still contending with that. You're doing pretty okay. You have found your flow. You have found your way to continue to experience the loving force of Source's love. And so you, Scorpio, are quite whole and elevated and buoyant and resilient, and you're good. But I think that this person is really sort of experiencing the heaviness of their loss of relationship with you. This next card represents the energy that's coming in. Material, love, obsession. So Scorpio, this is just telling me that this work that you're doing here, which really isn't even work, this is just you, like, what's the word? Like saturating yourself in love, saturating it's like you're saturating your, like the way that you acknowledge, oh my God, my words are like not making sense. Because it's such an emotional thing. Like you're having such a profound emotional experience of source love, of divine universal intelligence and compassion, that the universe is like flowing to you more and more and more things. Abundance, abundance, abundance. So in your gratitude, you're creating the influx of resource, right? This is the universe giving you all that it can continue to give you, from financial resource to comforts, to pleasure, to joy, to friendships, to other forms of connection, to creativity. Like this card, which has come up in another reading, for you in this particular reading, this person looks like, they're sitting on their stack of coins, but they're not thinking about their money. They're not looking down and counting it. Like this person already has their eyes set on new heights, new things. There's an inspiration taking place, or an aspiration. There's a forward looking. There's, their eyes are watching the sky. This energy that you have been circulating, Scorpio, continues to inspire you and bring in new creative ideas. There's this kind of self-fulfilling element of your increased gratitude and appreciation continues to give to you the universe's outpouring of gratitude and appreciation for you. You appreciate the universe and God. God appreciates, God and the universe appreciate you appreciating all that there is. It's like, whether you're spiritual or not, religious or not, it's this idea that love and gratitude, kindness, appreciation, these things are renewable energy. And the more you get into this, the more that becomes available to you. And not just available like an option, like, no, these things are going to come back to you tenfold. So Scorpio, you are engineering some pretty big resource in your life, both of the loving nature and of the material nature. This is, I mean, Scorpio, you're a manifesting engine. What can I say? This is lovely. This is beautiful. All right, Scorpio, I hope this helps.